Yes, 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 yes. Welcome to another edition of the Hello Can You Hear Me, the series, the pod, the journey, whatever you want to call it. We are here for you. My name is Eddie Knapp. Obviously, I am your not so humble, not so gracious, not so friendly host, but I'm here to talk a little bit of shit with y'all. So normally I get into my music, get into my little intro, talk a little shit. But I've been reading the comments, y'all. I've been reading the comments. Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't like the countdown. I got rid of the countdown. Y'all don't like the music. Y'all don't want to hear that rapidy rap shit. Y'all told me. You're like, get this rapidy rap shit out of here when you're doing your topics. Just get right into the topics. Skip the info, get straight to the skip the intro, get straight to the info. That's what y'all want. Is this what you want? My best Chris Tucker impression. This is what you want, this is what you get. I got you. Tato. You know what I mean? In my best Dominican accent. Tato, we got you. So no music today. No music today. I got myself hyped before I got on. You know what I mean? I play a little bit of Papoose, a little bit of Papoose, a little bit of Russ. You know what I mean? Some Russ and some Papoose. That's my jam too, man. That's my shit. That is my shit. But man, what we here to talk about today? Obviously, there's not a lot of Yankee news. We're kind of in that time of the year where there's not going to be a lot of Yankees breaking news yet. Probably not until after the new year. We won't start to see some major traction in regards to the latest and greatest of who's still available now that the big three of available players, whether it be free agency or trade, the big three, the holy trinity, have all been moved. We know where they're going to end. We know where they ended up. And so now everybody else can kind of get in where they fit in. Obviously, we saw IKF sign his new deal. We bid him adieu. Shout out to Isaiah Kind of Falefa. That's my man. It had to be him. Hopefully, he can, find some footing on his new squad, and we'll look forward to see what he does in the future because he's a really good ball player when he is utilized correctly. He's not going to be an everyday superstar infielder, but if you want to be a winning ball club, you need a guy like IKF on your team. So, shout out to IKF. We're gonna miss him. I can speak for myself, and for most of the Yankee fans, we're gonna miss him when he's not being jammed in as the future shortstop. But as a utility infielder, as a guy you move all around, the infield and the outfield, you get him, 4 to 5 playing days a week. He's gonna get you some hits, man. Like I said, he is the type of guy that every winning team has on their squad. He's just one of those types of dudes. He'll never complain. He can catch. He can catch in a pinch. He can play center field in a pinch. He can play all infield positions, probably except for first. He could probably play first base too if you really need him to. He could probably play all 9 positions in a single game if you really wanted him to. He's that type of versatile player. And like I said, he has a knack for getting some clutch hits. He's a put the ball in play kind of guy. So you like that. You like that. So shout out to him. I'm glad he got himself a deal, got himself a little bag, and I'll miss him in Yankee pinstripes for sure. But we wish him the best. But obviously the Holy Trinity has moved, right? The big three. You had your Juan Soto. He is a New York Yankee. And then the Dodgers were able to sweep the sweepstakes of the 2 Japanese aces, right? So they got Shohei Ohtani, who won't be an ace next year as he recovers from his surgery, but he'll certainly be a force to reckon with as a DH. And then they were able to sign Yamamoto, and they were able to win the bidding war between themselves, the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees. Obviously, I have a video on the channel kind of reacting to that and giving my take. Shout out to everybody who's tapped in. That video is close to 1,000 views. And I know some content creators are like, 1,000 views. I'd shoot myself in the face if I ever got a video with 1,000 views. But I'm going to tell you, man, we're building this from nothing. We are building this from nothing. So getting 700 views on a video of me just screaming into this mic, I'll take it. I'll take it. So I appreciate everybody who tapped in. We had a lot of comments, and that I think was the biggest thing for me. Is it's one thing to get the views, but to get the engagement of people commenting. This is what I like about the video. This is what I don't like about the video. Hey, knock off the rappity rap shit. We don't want to hear that. Hey, knock off the long countdown. We don't want to hear that. All right, I heard you. Heard you. I'm new to this thing, so when I ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and share, don't make that rare. We want to see you here. I mean that. I'm really interested to hear from anybody who catches my videos, whether you catch it live while I'm doing it live right now, yeah, what up? Or you catch it in passing. You catch it tomorrow, the next day, next year, next month. Whenever you catch it, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about anything. So we really appreciate that. And so please leave a comment. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you think I can do better, what I should continue to do as I look to grow this channel. And hopefully I say or do something that it makes you want to come back. So we definitely want to continue to build the channel. We've seen the subscriber base grow. We're approaching 70 subscribers. Again, I'm somebody who, when I started this channel last month, had 0 subscribers. So to be closing in at 70 and, making the approach to 100 subscribers, we're 5,000 views in total. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate everybody who has shown me some support, shown me some love, given me some honest criticism. Thank you. Thank you. All right, man, but y'all see the title of this particular blog. What am I talking about here? What am I talking about here? I'm a hip hop head. And one of my favorite new up and coming rappers, you may not know him, is a gentleman by the name of Marlon Craft. And he is one of these, super lyrical, miracle, dope spitters. He recently, I won't say recently, probably a couple years ago, went up to Sway in the Morning. Shout out to Sway. And if you know anything about hip hop and Sway in the Morning, if you're a rapper and you pull up to Sway in the Morning, you got to rap. You can't do this. Nah, I'm just here for an interview. Nah, I just want to talk. Nah, I just want to talk about the album. Nah, you got to rap. When you go up there, you got to rap. And so he went up there and, he spit a crazy freestyle. He was actually in a Yankee jersey. So I like that even more. But one of the lines that he said stuck out to me, where he said, "I'm the rap game Jeff Van Gundy, disgusted by the league I love." I love that line so much because that line is so hard, and I relate to it, man. Like so I kind of feel like I'm YouTube baseball's Jeff Van Gundy. Like I'm disgusted with the league I love. Major League Baseball. I love my name's Eddie Baseball. You see it right down there on the bottom of the screen. Give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on Facebook at Eddie Baseball. Give me a follow on Instagram at Eddie Baseball 0920. I'm a baseball guy. This is what I love. I'm disgusted by the game I love. And I'm going to tell you why, man. Coming up as a kid, the Major League Baseball or the Baseball Hall of Fame was something that we revered. Ooh, it's in Cooperstown. Ooh, the Hall of Fame. It preserves the history of the game. It tells the history of the game. Only the immortals are enshrined in there. That used to be true. Well, we used to think it was true. Now, I've always had a problem with the fact that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand how you can have a Hall of Fame for baseball and Pete Rose ain't in it. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about that. That might be for another video. I know a lot of the old school cats. You can't bet. You can't bet. You can't bet. It is a joke that we're keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame when every other commercial on a baseball game is for FanDuel and DraftKings. It's crazy. It's crazy. We are fully in bed with sports gambling, sports betting. Yet Pete Rose still not in the Hall. It's wild. It's wild. So that's probably the first time I became disgusted with the game I love. Disgusted with the Hall of Fame. Disgusted with the process of picking folks to be enshrined into the Hall of Fame, right? Because coming up as a kid, right, you think, hey, This is merit based. This is something that nobody could take away from you. If you in baseball always had these magical numbers, right? If you reach some of these magical numbers, you just you automatically goated. You automatically HOF, Hall of Fame. It's just automatic, right? It used to be, hey, if you got to that 500 home runs in your career, it's automatic. You in there. You get 3,000 hits. It's automatic. You in there. What is it? 300 wins as a pitcher. Automatically, you in there. Right? It's just there were just certain criteria, certain numbers. Right? Baseball's always been the game of numbers. There was just certain numbers that when you hit, you knew it represented excellence, and you knew that, hey, this is a baseline for this guy is a future Hall of Famer. And then you could always get into the, what was your first ballot, second ballot, Veterans Committee, right? And you baseball fans could always have fun debating those things. But there was never a question as to what is a Hall of Famer, right? This is kind of like porn, right? I don't know that I can give you a clear-cut definition, but I know it when I see it. You put that shit on the screen. Oh, I know that. That's X-Hub. I know that. Same thing with the Hall of Fame. I might not be able to give you the clear-cut definition, but hey, big dog, that guy right there, that's a Hall of Famer. That's a Hoff. That's a Hall of Famer. And it's not like that anymore. Now, a lot of that is because of the steroid era. Right? And so what we all know what the steroid era was, right? I don't need to go through it, right? But from, you want to call it the mid 80s, maybe early 80s, maybe late 80s, right? But right around there to, the early 2000s, everybody was juicing. Everybody was using. Everybody was taking some type of supplement. That's just a fact. We know it now. We didn't know it then. We had suspicions then, but we know it now. And we know enough to know that, one, we don't know everybody who's done it, but we know that it was widespread. We know that there is not a single organization that did not have players under their employ utilizing performance-enhancing drugs. We know that in some instances, the organizations were in cahoots with the players to get the drugs, find the drugs, put the drugs, hide the drugs, all of that, right? We know this. This is not, I'm not breaking any news here. Go read the, the NY Daily News expose of Balco and all of that shit, right? I mean, we know. So I'm not here to argue about whether or not it happened, right? We know it happened. No shit, Sherlock. It happened. I would argue that the game is better off for it. I would argue that Bud Selig, rest in peace, allowed it to go on as long as he did because he knew what I know is that it saved the game after the 1994 players' strike that canceled the World Series. And so you came back in 1995 and you had terrible attendance. Ain't nobody was fucking with baseball. We was over it. We was on to the NBA. We was on to the NFL. NFL was really starting to bubble in terms of its overall popularity. And right now, I mean, the NFL's gone, right? Like you can't even catch the NFL. It's the NFL and everybody else fighting for second place. But it used to be MLB. Then you had the player strike. Then something weird started to happen. Baseball was fun. Baseball was exciting. Cats was hitting bombs. Mark McGwire was putting the ball in fucking orbit. Sammy Sosa was doing crazy shit in Chicago. Barry Bonds said, "Oh, wait, hold on. That's what y'all doing? Y'all mid. That's what y'all doing? Hold on. Watch this." And Barry Bonds got involved. Roger Clemens was like, whoa, hold up. I'm him. And all of y'all are doing this, and ain't nobody saying nothing. Oh, nah. I'm about to get mine. Roger Clemens started getting his shit off. And so it happened with a lot of ball players in that era. So much so that we call it the steroid era. So much so that you really can't, anybody who played in that era, say for, maybe one or two or three names, you really can't look at anybody and definitively say that person never used steroids. That person never used any performance enhancing drugs. That person was quote unquote clean, whatever that means. There may be a handful of ball players that you can say that with a straight face and believe it. Right? I think most people believe that about Jeter. Most people believe that about Mariano. Right? Most people believe that about Griffey. Right? I mean, it's a handful, right? And it's we believe it. We don't know, but we know that they man's in the locker room next door was doing all that shit. We know that, and we know that they know that. So, how innocent are they really anyway? Right? They have no problem knocking in runners who got on base using PEDs, right? They had no problem sharing W's and championships and pennants and division titles with teammates who were using. So everybody was complicit in that era. Everybody. The fans, the media. Whoa, we're gonna get to the media because y'all like to act holier than thou, but mom was the word when the shit was going down. Right? We got dirt on you, doggy. We got dirt on you. But obviously, MLB, the Players Association, and MLB proper, the league, they knew. Everybody knew. But you know what was happening? That register was ringing. Eyeballs were tuning into the games. Asses was hitting the seats in the ballpark, filling up the ballparks. That TV money was coming in, rolling in. Them ESPN contracts, rolling in. So everybody said, hold up, big dog. Let them get their shit off. The fans like it. Chicks dig the long ball. If you're old enough, if you're old head like me, you remember the commercial. Chicks dig the long ball. They leaned into it. So I find it offensive that these ball players who were just operating within the realm of the standard operating procedure at the time are being held accountable in a way that nobody else is being held accountable. So I find it offensive that Mark McGwire is not in the Hall of Fame. I find it offensive that Barry Bonds, not in the Hall of Fame. I find it offensive that Roger Clemens is not in the Hall of Fame. Not only not in the Hall of Fame, not even eligible anymore. Like, they off the ballot. They gone. It's a joke. What are we doing? And the problem is with the process. Obviously, we all know that in order to gain induction into the Hall of Fame, you have to receive 75% of the vote. Who's voting? Well, that's a very good question. Is it former players? No. Not until you get to the Veterans Committee. Is it scholars, baseball aficionados? Not necessarily. It's the writers. It's the Baseball Writers of America Association, something like that. I think it's Baseball Writers Association of America. I think they have about 330 some odd writers who are tasked. Oh, that word is fucking me up. Tasked. Hey, that word just bodied me. Excuse me. But they are charged with casting a ballot every year. There's a limit of 10 players per ballot that you can agree to vote for. And again, for any single player to gain admission into the Hall of Fame, you need 75% of the vote. It's a hard thing to get. And my problem is not with it being hard. My problem is not with it being difficult. It should be difficult. It should be hard. It should be the hardest thing to accomplish. So I'm not mad that it's rare. I'm not mad that it's hard. It should be. It's not the Hall of Very Good, right? It's the Hall of Fame. Like, you should have to be an immortal. Again, it's that same thing, right? Like, I shouldn't be able to describe to you what a Hall of Famer is, but I should be able to point one out and say, hey, that's a Hoff. But what we have here and what we have now and what we've had for some time is you get a bunch of weaselly, cowardly, snake-like, goofball baseball writers who are prosecuting their own cases against individual ball players using their warped sense of morality as a cudgel to keep deserving players out. And so you'll have guys not vote for obvious Hall of Famers because I think he might have used steroids one time, or he was on a list somewhere, or he was on a report somewhere, or there was an investigation done. But there's no clear criteria as to who gets in and who gets out among the folks who used PEDs, which again, everybody in that era has some sort of complicity. So how do you keep anybody out on the basis of PEDs? To me, I think it's asinine. I think it's ridiculous. I think it is I think it's selfish. I think it's guys trying to make a name for themselves. Again, this is probably the only time that some of these baseball writers get their names said by the general public, right? And everybody, you see what they do for views. Yeah, everybody's a clout baby. Everybody chasing clout cookies. These guys are no different. And so they'll put out, and we're going to go through some public ballots right now, and they'll put out a ballot or two, and it'll just be ridiculous. I mean, I think one guy voted for two dudes this year. We're going to go through it. I mean, he's a clown. One of the writers is a clown. So and he voted for two dudes. And then when he gets pressed on it, he's like, oh, well, I could vote for some other guys next year, right? As if their numbers are going to change from year to year, right? That's another thing I hate, where you'll have a guy vote for a guy on one ballot, not vote for him the next year, but then vote for him the year after. It's like, what the fuck? What did he hit another 30 home runs in the 2 years that he's been retired, or the 2 years that you didn't vote for him? Like, the numbers never change, bro. But that's what they do. They play God. Again, it's these guys who prosecute their own cases against these individual ball players using their sense of morality, their judgment. Hey, well, I think he used steroids. Hey, well, I voted for this other guy who used steroids, but he was never suspended. This guy was suspended, so I'm not voting for him. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? But again, that's what these writers do. And they justify it. That's how they justify it. Well, my line is where I draw the line is, and so it's completely arbitrary. It's subjective. It's each voter gets to pick what their specific criteria is for keeping somebody out. And again, we're not talking about borderline cases here. We're talking about, if you look at guys' numbers, they're Hall of Famers. You cannot look me in my face after going to Barry Bonds' baseball reference page and tell me he's not a Hall of Famer. Conversation over. You don't know baseball. So you have to go into the morality of, well, he was juicing. And then I say, well, he never failed the test. So how do you know he was really juicing? Now, look, we know he was juicing, right? We're not stupid. But he never failed the test. Never failed the test. Never got suspended. So what are we doing here? Why are you keeping him out of the half? He's the GOAT. The GOAT got to be in the half. It's not difficult here. GOAT, half. It's not fucking difficult. But then what happens is human nature takes over. So what tends to happen is the guys who were less likable throughout their career, the guys who were less affable, the guys who were less media friendly, get screwed. So Barry Bonds, who really didn't fuck with the media, he gets screwed. David Ortiz, who appeared on a list, who failed the test, media darling, gets in first ballot. Forget about it. He's good. It's Big Papi. It's Big Papi. It's Big Papi. Be clear. Big Papi's a Hall of Famer, full stop. I got no issue with him being in there. But Big Papi can't be in no Hall of Fame that A-Rod can't get into. He can't be in the Hall of Fame that Barry Bonds can't get into. I'm sorry. Because even amongst Hall of Famers, it's levels. It's levels. Okay? And Papi will tell you this. David Ortiz knows at no point in his life was he qualified to hold Barry Bonds' bag. He know that. That's not me disrespecting David Ortiz to say that. But he knows that. I hope he knows that. I don't know. He said some wild shit on Fox, so I don't know. He might not know that. Well, if your friends won't tell you, your man Eddie Knapp will. You couldn't hold a candle to Barry Bonds, but you know that. Come on, we don't need to disrespect David Ortiz. But again, David Ortiz, and the reason why I harp on David Ortiz is because, excuse me here. Let me stop this. The reason I harp on David Ortiz, he's a known steroid user. Was on the list, same list A-Rod was on. If A-Rod can't get in, Ortiz can't get in. Now again, I think they should both be in. I do. I think it's disingenuous for any of us to judge so harshly these players when we all benefited from it. I'm a Yankee fan. I won 5 chips. I won 4 chips in the quote unquote steroid era. I won 4 chips. I ain't giving them shits back. You tell me, oh, you got to get them chips back because it was the steroid era. Suck my dick. Fuck out of here. I ain't giving not a single chip back. You know why? Because for as many steroid users as we had on our squad, and we had our fair share, we was competing against hella steroid users as well. So it was even. It was even. You know what I mean? If you got brass knuckles, I got nunchucks. We both got a weapon. It's a fair fight. It's a fair fight. Sorry. It's just how I feel about it. It's a fair fight. So I think in the backdrop of that, I think it's just corny the way the baseball writers play God with their Hall of Fame votes. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. We've got to come up with a new system because again, who are we kidding here? Who are we kidding here? You're going to a Hall of Fame and you don't see a Barry Bonds there. It's like, what are we doing, huh? What? You don't see Alex Rodriguez got 696 home runs, huh? What? Like, you want to put a steroid? You want to put a steroid asterisk there? Cool. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that. But this idea that these baseball writers get to just play God with what should be the most prestigious honor a baseball player can have is frustrating. And it's been happening for far too long. And the frustrating part about it is it's continuing to happen. It's continuing to happen. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to go through a couple of things. Here. I've been rocking for a half hour, so I think I can get to the shits. Right? Let's get right to the shits here. All right, so shout out to my man at Not Mr. Tibbs and the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot trackers, right? And so I want to make sure that I give them credit at Not Mr. Tibbs. And shout out to the team. You see him right there at Tony Cal 93, at Shut the Door, at JM DeVivo. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. And make sure you follow me on Twitter too, God damn it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. I am Eddie Baseball. You see it right here on the left hand. It's your right hand. It's on the bottom of the goddamn screen. It says Eddie Baseball. You see it. But I want to go there. And so they track every single public ballot that comes out. And they put it in this really nifty Excel spreadsheet, which kind of allows you to see what the early trends are, who's got a shot to make it, who doesn't, what the early returns are. So if you know me, I'm an Excel guy. I'm a data-driven guy. It's kind of what I do in my day job, in my 9 to 5, when I'm not screaming about baseball, battle rap, and hip hop culture to the YouTube masses. I'm a big Excel and a data guy, right? So just really quickly, if you look at the legend here, you can see any name in blue is first time on the ballot. If they are red, they are last time on the ballot. And so as you scroll down, you'll see the baseball writer's name, right? And so we'll go there, right? So you'll see, right? So these goofballs are the baseball writers who have submitted public ballots. And I want to give them credit for one thing. Submitting a public ballot, you're not being a coward. Now, you may be a clout chaser, you may be a goofball, and we're going to talk about a couple of y'all because I got smoke for y'all, but at least you're public and you're not hiding. You're not being a coward, right? So currently there are 65 public ballots. Well, 62 public ballots plus 3 anonymous or unverifiable ballots that we know are going to count, but we don't know. We can't put a name to the bullet, right? We expect 384 ballots to be cast, and so again, you need 75% of the ballots to vote for you. So we expect that you need right around 288 votes to gain entry into the Hall of Fame for the class of 2024. So right now we are just under 17% of ballots known, right? So the 384 ballots, we know 65 of them. So take this data as you will. This is very early returns, but it at least gives us a glimpse into what the early returns look like, who has a shot, who needs some work to catch up, who's going to need a prayer or two, and who ain't got a shot in hell, right? So I think this is all super interesting, right? And so if you look at the list of guys here, David Wright is his first time on the ballot. You've got Billy Wagner, Omar Vizquel, Chase Utley, his first time on the ballot, along with James Shields. Gary Sheffield, this is his last time on the ballot. We're going to talk about Gary Sheffield. You see him in the thumbnail. And there's a reason for that. It is his last time on the ballot. And you can see early returns. He's trending well. Right now, he needs to hold this pace, but he's right around, he's at that 75% number right now. Obviously, super early. He needs to hold the pace, but early returns are looking good. You've got Jimmy Rollins, you've got K-Rod, you've got A-Rod. This is his third year on the ballot. 30 on the ballot. Not looking so good for the God at 43%. He needs those numbers to tick up a bit. Not out of the realm of possibility, but given the fact that other people in his class of steroid-accused users haven't gotten in, I think it's going to be really difficult for A-Rod to get in this year or in the next couple of years. We'll see what happens by the time his 10th and final year of eligibility comes around. Maybe he'll start trending more like Gary Sheffield in the mid 70s early on, where you think he might have a shot. We do know that he's working super hard to rehabilitate his image in the public. I think it's fucked up that he has to do that. He's got to kiss ass. He's got to be a media darling to have a shot of something that he flat out deserves, something that he flat out earned. And I don't care about the steroids. You can say, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Man's got 696 bombs. All right. I watched him for a lot of years as a Yankee fan. Best right-handed power hitter I've ever seen in the Yankee uniform, not named Aaron Judge. And Judge got to do it for a long time. And Judge never played shortstop. So A-Rod was special. So, I mean, when I see 43%, it pisses me off. So Jose Reyes, first time on the ballot. Manny Ramirez, 8th time on the ballot. He trending right along with A-Rod, right around that 40%. And it's his 8th year, so he's running out of time. He is running out of time. And you know me, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. Manny Ramirez, not one of my favorite people. It's crazy that he's not. I mean, it's crazy that he's at 40%. It's nuts. It's nuts. You got Brandon Phillips, his first time. Andy Pettit. Shout out to my man, Andy Pettit. He's getting some votes here. He's at a little 10.8%. Joe Mauer, my man, Joe Mauer. It's his first time on the ballot. And he seems to have the highest clip right now at 80%, 52 votes. So 52 of the 65 known ballots that have been cast have Joe Mauer. I think that's well-deserved. I think he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, if you don't remember him, catcher with the Twins, just a phenomenal talent. You know, he was an oddity because he was a super tall dude. He was a big catcher, right? You don't remember big, tall dudes being catchers like that. But he was just phenomenal. One of my favorite players to watch. You know, the things he did with the bat was just ridiculous. So, and you never really heard him kind of caught up in any nonsense regarding the PED stuff, right? So, Joe Mauer seems to be leading the pack here. You got Victor Martinez, Andrew Jones, Torrey Hunter, Matt Holliday, Todd Helton, a couple of first years, and Adrian Gonzalez and Bartolo Colon. You got Mark Burley. Then you got Adrian Beltre. I'm sorry, Adrian Beltre is leading the pack at 98.5. So 64 out of the 65 known ballots all voted for Adrian Beltre. And obviously, Adrian Beltre is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Nothing to talk about there. And you've never really heard many rumblings about him with PEDs and stuff like that. Carlos Beltran, he is trending nicely, 64.6% in only his second year of eligibility. So we'll see how that holds out throughout the rest of this process. And if he doesn't get in this year, I'd imagine those numbers will tick up over the next couple of years as he gets further removed from an actual cheating scandal with the Houston Astros. Like, he's got 64.6% of the vote. A-Rod's got 43. Manny's got 40. And Carlos Beltran actually cheated. Like, he actually cheated. I tell myself I was going to yell. I apologize. But I mean, that's just, I mean, and I love Carlos Beltran. I'm Puerto Rican. I think Beltran is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he did cheat in a way that I think is more egregious than doing the same type of steroids everybody else is doing. We know what they did in Houston. We know it needs to relitigate that. A Yankee fan is just going to make me mad. And then rounding out the ballot, first time appearance for Batista, and the fifth appearance for Bobby Abreu, former Yankee, former Philly. Good ball player, really good ball player, high on base, nice, sweet lefty swing. I really enjoyed Bobby Abreu as a ball player. Hell of a ball player, kind of an all-star level type dude. Really solid, very, 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 very good. Not a Hall of Famer to me. Not a Hall of Famer. But this is not Bobby Abreu smoke by any stretch of the imagination. So what I wanted to do here. So make sure you follow this. Make sure you follow these guys. At Mr. Tibbs, because as more ballots come in, they'll continue to update this. And this is a super fire tool, right? But here's the thing that pisses me off. You see these color-coded things here? These color-coded things here? And Marcos Breton. I mean, this guy is a complete jerk. We're going to go to my tweets in a minute because this guy is, I mean, everything wrong, everything I've been ranting about, everything wrong with the way baseball players are chosen for the Hall of Fame is shown in this ballot. First of all, look at this ballot. He voted Carlos Beltran. He voted Carlos Beltran, and it's green. So he didn't vote for Carlos Beltran last year, but he voted for Carlos Beltran this year. I don't know, man. Did I miss it? Did Carlos Beltran, hit 320 this year? Did he smack another 30 home runs this year? I must have missed it. I thought he was in the front office with the Yankees. I must have missed it. I must have missed his numbers getting substantially better, that Mr. Breton can include him in his ballot this year, but he left him off last year. But all right. So he votes Carlos Beltran, who, again, I'm rolling with. I like Carlos Beltran. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. But I thought that last year. I would have voted for him last year. This guy didn't. I don't know why. And then Adrian Beltre. Duh. Right? And then that's it. So he can vote for another 8 people. He can vote for another 8 people. This Marcus Breton. He can vote for another 8 people, but chose not to. Left it at 2. Even more egregious. He added a Carlos Beltran to his ballot this year, even though he left him off last year. And then left off people this year that he voted for last year. They must have had a bad offseason. They must have had a bad season. So Beltran went nuts. Beltran hit 35 home runs, hit 290, had a crazy on base. But Andrew Jones had a terrible year last year. Hit under the Mendoza line, apparently. So he's out. Manny Ramirez was a Hall of Famer last year. Not a Hall of Famer this year. Again, Marcos Breton. This dude. And I'm gonna pull up his tweet because he says some foul shit. He's making fun of the fans who are rightly calling him out. And again, he's clout chasing. This is the only time we're ever gonna say this piece of shit's name. This is the only time we're ever gonna know who he is because he does some fuck shit like this, right? Alex Rodriguez. Voted for him last year. Must not have liked him on MLB with Fox this year. Or must have really not liked the ESPN thing he does with Michael Kay. The K-Rod thing for Sunday Night Baseball. That must have dropped him out of consideration. Loved it last year. This year, you're out. Even though, again, he's got space for another 8 people on his ballot. Remember, you could put 10. He only put 2. Added Beltran after leaving him off, and then now took off Andrew Jones, took off Manny Ramirez, took off Alex Rodriguez, and took off Billy Wagner. Didn't vote for Gary Sheffield. Mind you, Gary Sheffield is in his 10th and final year of eligibility. Didn't vote for Gary Sheffield. So, Mr. Brenton, what do you got to say for yourself? Let's go to my bookmarks. Let's go to my bookmarks here. Let's go to my bookmarks here. Oh, no. So rightfully so, he said, hey, he posted his ballot right on. He took a picture of the shit, posted it on Twitter for all to see. He was proud of this shit. He was proud. Only 2 names this year. There was more names last year. Only 2 names this year. It wasn't in his heart. It wasn't in his spirit. It wasn't in his soul to vote for anybody else but Carlos Beltran and Adrian Beltran. And so somebody rightly pointed out and said, hey, big dog, no Gary Sheffield? Then he goes, not surprised by the crying fanboys. Hey, suck my dick. Suck my dick. Not surprised by the crying fanboys when ballots are announced. Sorry to hurt your little feelings. You get no credit for transparency on this platform. No, you get credit for transparency on this platform. It's the other fuck shit you're not getting credit for. It's the other fuck shit you taking heat for. It's the fact that you're inconsistent in your logic. That's what you getting heat for. It's not the fact that you're being transparent, because I started the video saying, hey, shout out to anybody who makes their ballot public. I appreciate that. But this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Again, when you leave people off that you voted for in the past, vote for people that you left off in the past, it's like, bro, what's the logic here? What's the logic here? Some players who didn't get a vote this year could get one next year. Meanwhile, grow up. If they're not good enough this year, how are they good enough next year? Explain that to me, Marcos. Explain it to me like I'm stupid. Explain it to me like I'm a child. Please. If they're not good enough last year or this year, how in the fucking world will they be good enough next year? Unless you are admitting that your criteria is completely arbitrary and you're doing this to fuck with people. It's engagement farming. It's clout chasing. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at my stupidity. And yo, we got to stop making stupid people famous, y'all. We have to. We have to. And then shout out to my man, hey, yo! Curious, why Sheffield doesn't get a vote? No judgment or anything, just curious. Now, I'm judging the fuck out of you because Gary Sheffield should get a vote. But look at what, and this is what's so offensive to me. And again, this is why guys like this are a disgrace to the Baseball Writers Association, are a disgrace to the game I love, are a disgrace to the Hall of Fame, because he says, I could still vote for him next year. That's the beauty of 10 years of eligibility. This year, I felt strongly about 2, voted for 2. He's in his 10th year, asshole! You can't vote for him next year. But you didn't know that. You're a baseball expert, but you didn't know that. Again, imagine you're Gary Sheffield. Imagine you bust your ass from the time you are a toddler through little league, high school, minor leagues. You fight your way through the minor leagues. You fight your way into a club. You fight your way into the starting lineup. You fight your way into a everyday all-star, perennial all-star. You fight, scratch, and claw your way to become one of the greatest offensive players this game has ever seen. And that is who Gary Sheffield was. One of the greatest right-handed hitters this game has ever seen. Amazing. Amazing. He would have hit 1,000 home runs if the left field foul pole was like 10 inches fucking, 10 inches to the left. That's his bat speed was impeccable. The way he nobody turned on a fastball the way Gary Sheffield did. And this asshole didn't even know that this was his last year of eligibility, and he's keeping him out. For what? Because he put some cream on his knee? Because that's all we got on Gary Sheffield. The fact that he had knee surgery and he used a cream to help heal, to help the stitches heal. We have no evidence of him injecting anything in his ass. No evidence of, doing any of the other, high-tech drugs that some of these other guys are thought to have done. None of that. Smug as a motherfucker. I could still vote for him next year. That's the beauty of 10 years of eligibility. This year, I felt strongly about 2, so I voted for 2. Man, suck my... Not community notes. Not community notes. Fact checking you bitch ass. Not community notes. Fact checking your bitch ass. This is Gary Sheffield's final year of eligibility for the Baseball Writers Association of America Hall of Fame election. He will not be on the ballot next year. He will not. But again, these are the people who are voting for the Hall of Fame. Again, so this is a personal thing. Maybe he just gets off on denying people their rightful place. Maybe it's a him thing, right? Maybe he feels like, hey, I don't get the type of love that I should be getting. I don't get the type of love and respect I should be getting. I'm not revered in my craft the way Gary Sheffield's revered in his craft. Let me knock him down a peg. Maybe Gary Sheffield never gave him interviews. I don't know. Because he's never voted for him in the 10 years. Never voted for him. Or at least didn't vote for him last year. According to this over here. Never voted for him last year. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. Look, if you are charged, let me get this tweet off the screen here as I get ready to finish up, man. If you are charged, if you have the honor, because it's an honor and a privilege, to be one of the people that vote for the Hall of Fame, you should take that seriously. You should have sound, well thought out rationale for why you vote one way or the other. It should not be, I could just vote for him next year when you can't vote for him next year. You shouldn't be that flippant with your vote. Because somebody worked their entire life for this moment and you're robbing them. Or you're complicit in robbing them. Now, again, I hope Gary Sheffield gets in. I hope enough of the baseball writers get their heads out of their ass and vote him in because it is his last year of eligibility. But, that's just disgusting. The fact that he either didn't know, pretended not to know, is trolling baseball fans who are rightfully upset. Is just everything wrong with what is going on with the MLB Hall of Fame. And it's why it's not respected anymore. It's why Roger Clemens goes up there and says, I don't give a shit if I'm in the Hall of Fame or not. It means absolutely nothing to me anymore. Because the Hall of Fame has been devalued. Great job. Great job, Marcos. Great job. What else here? I think I was arguing with some folks here. Steve Gardner, bitch ass Steve Gardner. Let me share my screen again. Let's find bitch ass Steve Gardner. The only Gardner we acknowledge is Brett. Shout out to Brett Gardner. Steve Gardner. Where's Steve Gardner's bitch ass ballot? Let's look at Steve Gardner's bitch ass ballot. All right, let's come to the front. Now, he voted for 9 people. So at least he's, using his, at least he's using his vote. Let's see who he voted for. Voted for Carlos Beltran, somebody who actually cheated. But fine, cool with that. Voted for Adrian Beltran. I'm cool with that. Todd Helton, okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. Andrew Jones, I understand the thought process, particularly early in his career. You thought he was going to be a lock for the Hall of Fame, Andrew Jones. So I understand that, but I feel like he's also got some questionable PED charges around him. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put that on him. Let me take that back because I'm not sure. Joe Mauer, yes, that's a lock, duh. But now look at this. No Manny, no A-Rod. No Manny, no A-Rod. How do you look at this ballot and say, I'm voting Jimmy Rollins, but no Manny, no A-Rod? I'm voting Chase Utley and Billy Wagner. No Manny, no A-Rod. It's a joke. He does have the good sense to vote in Gary Sheffield in his 10th year of eligibility. So maybe he's one of these guys who punishes you 9 years out of the 10, and then on the 10th year says, okay, I'm done protesting. Here's your rightful vote. But here's the thing that really pisses me off about Steve Gardner, and him and I are beefing. No Manny, no A-Rod. You're everything wrong with the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a clown ballot. He claps back at me. Just consistently applying the same criteria to every player. They're the ones who tested positive and or got suspended for PED use. That's a lie. That's a big fat lie. That's a lie of the devil, and we're about to prove it, Steve. We're about to prove it. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You know why? Shout out to my man, Ohio Yankees fan. Did you vote for Ortiz? Because if you did, you are not following the same standard. Look at this bitch ass response. I did vote for Ortiz. He was never suspended for testing positive. But if I scroll up, you said your criteria was tested positive and or got suspended. So you have to test positive and or get suspended. So one of the two, by your own criteria here, Yibish, by your own criteria, he should not be in the Hall of Fame. I did vote for Ortiz. He was never suspended for testing positive. The survey results before the MLB enacted its official testing policy were not supposed to be made public. Same thing for A-Rod. Same thing for A-Rod. Same thing for A-Rod. Even if he did use PEDs then, he falls into the same class as Bonds and Clemens, who also got my vote. Well, at least you voted for Bonds and Clemens. And then I, just kind of tell him, this is why you're getting crushed in the comments, because he is. It's disingenuous. The whole system is broken. Yuck. And yuck, I got to take a shower after, interacting with this slimy writer. Because that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. I don't know when my camera's acting this way. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get my camera right. Let me get my camera right. Let me get my camera right for y'all. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get my camera right for y'all. Give me a second. Bang. Okay. All right, there we are. We back. That's frustrating. That's frustrating because here are two clear examples of baseball writers who should not have the right to vote for something as prestigious as this honor. And as a diehard baseball fan, it's like, I want to take my kid to the Hall of Fame. But how can I take him to the Hall of Fame when it's incomplete? Leave the morality to me to explain to him about cheating versus non-cheating. Leave that to me. You don't make that decision for me, Mr. Breton. You don't make that decision for me, Mr. Gardner. You don't get to make that decision for us. It's frustrating. The Hall of Fame is a museum. The museum is charged with preserving and telling the history of the game. It's not supposed to whitewash its history. It's not supposed to clean it up, make it better. Cats was using steroids. That's what it is. But again, you have these goofball writers that act like gatekeepers. Again, prosecuting their own cases against guys they think might have cheated. And here's the kicker: against guys they don't really like. Against guys that maybe didn't give them the time of day during their careers. The guy who wouldn't sit down and write a book with them in the off season. The guy who wouldn't give you the inside information, the inside scoop you're looking for to break your next story. The guy who told his other teammates, hey, yo, that dude over there lame. Don't give him no quotes. Keep it a stack, man. It's the unlikable guys that are being held accountable. It's the guys we don't like. It's the Bonds, it's the Clemens, it's the A-Rod, it's the Mannings. All on the outside looking in. Yet Ortiz, who got the same stench, got the same accusations, was on the same list, is a first ballot Hall of Fame because he's a media darling. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. But anyway, man, I hope I was clear. I hope I was vituperative in my assessment on this process, on the lack of reason and logic that some of these baseball writers are employing, because it's disgusting, it's nasty, it's frustrating. All right, man, I've been here for an hour, so I think I'm going to get out. I think I only wanted to do a half hour today, but I feel good. I feel great. And it's something I'm passionate about. And again, I want to be clear. This is not a Yankee thing, right? Obviously, I spent a lot of time talking about A-Rod, but I feel like I spent a lot of time talking about Manny. I feel like I spent a lot of time talking about Gary Sheffield. Obviously, Gary Sheffield was a Yankee. But, I mean, if he goes to the Hall of Fame, I don't expect him to go in as a Yankee. Well, he go in as a Brave, probably, right? So this is not a Yankee thing, right? I mean, there's nobody I grew up disliking more than Manny Ramirez. And it is a complete joke that Manny Ramirez is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He needs to go in there on roller skates. In fact, they need to vote him in, and they need to apologize to him for making him wait so long. Same thing with Bonds, same thing with Clemens, same thing with A-Rod. They owe these guys an apology, honestly. They owe these guys a big, fat apology. Because they are alienating some of the greatest players that some of us have ever seen, that some of us grew up watching. And we can't even take our children to the Hall of Fame and show them, hey, look, that guy right there, greatest right-handed Yankee slug I ever seen. A-Rod, number 13. Greatest. Maybe Judge could say something about that. But greatest right-handed slug I ever seen. My lifetime. Yankee Stadium. 2 MVPs. I mean, I don't have to go down the resume of these guys. These guys' resumes speak for themselves. I'm not talking about any borderline cases. If you a borderline case, To me, if you're borderline, you're not a Hall of Famer. Whether or not you did PEDs. Again, it's like porn. I can't give you a full exact definition, but I know it when I see it. When that shit on my screen, I'm like, oh, yep, that's what that is. I can tell you what that is. I can tell you the category too. We're not talking about porn right now. I can tell you the category too. Oh, yeah, that's all that. I could tell you. Same thing with Hall of Famers. I could look at a ball player. Nah, he was a Hall of Famer. Joe Mauer, that's a Hall of Famer. It's a Hall of Famer. He did things that nobody else was doing. So too with Bonds. So too with A-Rod. So too with Clemens. And so too with Sheffield. Good luck to Gary Sheffield, man. I hope you get in. Good luck to A-Rod. Good luck to Manny. Hope you gentlemen get in. If not this year, sometime in the near future. MLB baseball writers, y'all need to tighten up. Hey, MLB Hall of Fame, y'all need to figure this out. Y'all need to revamp the way we're bringing people in because it's disgusting. And while you're at it, Free Pete Rose, get him in there too. Get him in there too. Don't wait till he dies. Don't wait till he dies. This is stupid. So, all right, man. Once again, thank you for tuning in, whether you caught me live, whether you're catching this in passing, whether you are catching this a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when some of these guys are already in or they're completely off the ballot. This is how I'm feeling at this particular time. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you give us a like. Make sure you give us a comment. Make sure you give us a comment. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you share. Don't make that rare. We do want to see you here. My name is Eddie Knapp. Follow me on Twitter at Eddie Baseball, Facebook at Eddie Baseball, Instagram at Eddie Baseball 0920. It's nighttime with Napo. I'll probably be back later on. I want to talk some battle rap. I want to talk some hip hop. I want to talk some shit. But I had to get this baseball shit off my chest, man. Had to do it. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Hey, and those of y'all who commented on the last live, I didn't play no music. I didn't do no countdown. I'm learning. All right, y'all, man. It's Eddie Knapp. I'm out. Peace.